BMW, and it was a new challenge. To be honest, I was bored. It's it sounds big-headed, but I was winning and winning, and I wanted a new challenge, and BMW had taken all the good people from KTM, all the good mechanics, engineers, and on paper it was brilliant. The money was like 4 times more money than what KTM was, so you think about your future and you're like, okay, I'll go and do it. But I hadn't, you obviously know the bike's going to be a little bit different, and they're not conventional at all. Anything they do is a bit odd. So so I had written in my contract that anything, I'm there to win. So anything on the bike can be changed, so it becomes a winning package. So that's what I signed, and we didn't get a bike. I didn't have a bike until about, I think the first World Championship was March. I didn't get a bike till February. So I bought a Honda, probably October, November time. I bought a Honda to train on, just to go down and motocrossing and stuff. And that's when the BMW was fuel injected. Honda had come out with a new fuel injected bike, so I thought I'll buy a Honda and ride that to get used to the fuel injection thing and all that. So I went testing a few times and had a few big crashes from technical things, really. The throttle body the throttle sensor hadn't been set up on it properly because they didn't have the gear to do it at the time. So I got into these rocks to jump them, and boom, over the handlebars, cartwheel through a load of rocks, and then had another big crash a few weeks later that I didn't even know what happened. One of them, it just did something weird and spat me into the ground. So that was just normal. I didn't really think too much about it. We got to the first World Championship race, and me and Juha and Marco were all down in 7th place, 8th place, stuff like that, and we felt like we were going fast. And at the time, Mac's girlfriend, who was a motocross rider, American motocross rider, she was videoing us 3 riders on the special test, and she was saying, the rear end of the bike's lifting when you open the gas, the rear's lifting. So I wasn't driving, it was spinning. And the BM guys were like, what she know, silly woman doesn't know what she's on about. And then Dirk, who he's team manager of Hurlands now at KTM, he's Jeffrey Hurlands' boss, team manager of that team. So Dirk was a very good guy, very clever guy. So he listened to her because he knew what a good rider she was, and he was like, yeah, it's just bang on, it's right. The bike when it accelerates doing that. We had a crankshaft going backwards. I had a swing arm pivot through the front sprocket. So I had a stainless steel frame that probably weighed as much as one of them RVs out there. So they started changing little things like front sprocket size, and didn't do anything. They just doing that, and I was getting more concerned. The other guys didn't really say anything. They were getting paid a load of money, and they were like, we can't say anything because we might upset someone. I was saying I want results, and the bike. I've always been into my engineering, into bikes, and with KTM I did a load of testing all the time, so I know how a motorbike works. I know what's good and I know what's bad. So I was like, right, you need to make a race model. You need to make this is fine for trail riding. It's a good bike for Joe Bloggs to ride around, but we need a race model. And if it comes next year, that's fine. I can make do with it this year. The year's doomed anyway, So they were like, no, we can't do this. So then I went testing an ex-GP motocross track in I think it was in Austria, over the Austrian border from Germany. So we went there, and he had a few new bits on the bike to try, so we went, tried 3 different things. Had no feeling with the bike whatsoever. It was just an accident waiting to happen. But I said, I like that, I don't like that, and I don't like that. So what I liked was how the bike was. It was the new parts that I tested, I didn't like them. So I'd sort of finished, and I was lapping at, say, 1 minute 58 seconds, say, a lap. and that's where I was stuck. I couldn't go any quicker. So then I rode up and I was ready to go, and he said, "Oh, we've got one more thing to test." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he said, "You don't have to test it, but we want you to try it if you want to." And he pulled a brand new Kawasaki motocross bike out of the truck. So I was like, "What's this?" And they were like, "We want you to back it with this Cowie." Had the same tyres on it, Mooses. You know, they put an 18-inch rim in the back. That's all he'd done. It was a box standard motocross bike with 18-inch wheel in it. So I set off from the van. I did half a lap. My first flying lap on it. The bike was unreal. It was like, you know, I was big smile on my face, and I thought, this thing's good, you know. After about 3 laps, I seen the mechanics walking away laughing, like shaking their heads laughing. So I was like, carried on riding. I did like 40 minutes, ran out of fuel, coming on the bike, and they said, "How was it?" And I was like, it was obvious how it was. I had stayed out for 40 minutes, and they said, "Your first full lap was 6 seconds quicker than you did on the BMW." And this was on a motocross track. They said, "Your best lap was 9 seconds faster." So they were just like, you know, that BMW's piece of, you know what. So I said, "Right, that's all we need to know. Let's go back." So we went back to the factory. The big BMW boss was there, who, you know, they were just looking after themselves. They were watching. You know, he was obviously on big money. They were getting big budget in, and probably most of it was going in their pockets. I don't know. The designer of the bike, he'd come from designing trucks, so that explained most of it. So I got back and I said, "Right, you guys, you've got families, stuff like that. You don't have to say anything. You know, I don't expect you to say anything, but I'm going to go and tell them exactly what I think." So Bertie, the big boss of BMW, he was in there, and okay, so the Cowie was a little bit more stable on the downhill, and I was like, well, it was a lot more stable. And then he said something else, and I was like, right, I'm getting straight to the point here. I said, I don't care if you sack me, if you do whatever. I said, I've had enough. I said, I'm telling you exactly what I feel and what I know. So I told him everything that I'd felt. I said, you know, you're going around in circles. I'm here to win. We need to design a new, or change the bike, change that swing arm pivot, change the crankshaft. I said, the budget and resources BMW have got, I said, it's not a big job to do. I said, you know, I said, copy the Japanese, copy KTM. I said, you know, I said, that's what you need to do to win. I says, you know, no, we will not go this way. We won't copy them. And I was, well, we're never going to win. Simple as. I said, you've just built a new superbike. That's when the BMW superbike was had just been released. And I said, you've copied a Japanese bike, you know, and improved on it. So I said, that's what's obviously needed on this. So I said, you know, I'll stay, but I want to develop a new bike, like a race model, like an RR model or whatever, like road race bikes do, or and they were just point blank, no, this can't happen, we won't do it. So that was it. I just said, right, I'm resigning, that's enough, I'm leaving. So yeah, that was it really. And then after that, Juha got some half decent results on it afterwards, but they had gone to Latvia to a chassis making company and brought his KTM from the year before, and basically they copied the KTM chassis. They put the engine in a different position without the swing arm pivot through it. They made the frame out of chrome moly, like any normal bike, not stainless steel. They had a KTM, although we were on WP forks and shock, it was a lot different angle and length and everything to a KTM, so they put a KTM swing arm in the bike. It had KTM shock, KTM forks, so they just copied that, and the crankshaft still ran backwards, so they still had a bit of an issue, but the bike was a lot better. But BMW never knew about that bike. They just went and did it behind closed doors, because it's that big a company, they probably didn't even know what Enduro was. So Juha had some good results on it, or half decent results, better, and I jumped on a box standard Kawasaki and won the last 2 GPs. So, you know, that sort of rubbed their nose in it, and then ended up with a factory KTM ride again the following year. But the Kawasaki was a great bike, the KTM was obviously a great bike, but it was a shame because they had the best mechanics. He had the best guys. The designer wasn't the best, but if he'd listened, he could have designed something good, and that was that, you know. So it was a shame. I was sad to see it go, because it could have been, you know, we could have been sat here now saying, "Oh, that's the best decision that he ever did, was go to BMW," because, you know, we were getting paid a lot of money. You know, people say to me, "Oh, you're stupid." My girlfriend says it to me. "Oh, you were stupid. You know, why did you know, leave BMW when you were getting paid, like, I don't know, I was getting like 9,000 euros a week or something like that. It was like almost like a poor football player. So it was big money, but I'm like, I was depressed, I was unhappy, I was miserable, and, you know, motorbikes is my life. So if I'm not enjoying riding a motorbike, then I was absolutely miserable. So looking back now, yeah, it was probably stupid to leave, and I could have had a nice big stack of money to sit on there. But on the other hand, I went back to KTM and won another world title. So you can't buy world titles no matter how much money you've got. So yeah, it's one of them. I'm happy what I did. I probably do regret it in some ways, but in other ways I'm like, well, you can't change it now, so just get on with it. And, you know, I was a 4-time world champion, not a 3, so that's better in my book.
Wow, and I didn't think you wanted to talk about